Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever real Ghost Company live stream. I wanted to take the opportunity because it's January 3rd. We're in day 6, phase 6 of Lightside territory battles. And I wanted to take the opportunity at the phase change to show a couple things involving platoons and how we look at it, why we skip certain things, how to look into what we actually have, and what we can fill in order to take advantage of them. So I may be joined by a couple people, we'll see. But I figured I would get started right before the phase change so that I can show exactly how we look at this. So let's see. I'm going to go in and start to show it, and I'm going to need to take a second to put the link for the live stream in our Discord just in case anybody happens to notice, wants to try to take a look. So it seems like we are set to possibly do the best we've done so far in this territory battle. I think we may be able to get 37 stars this time. We've only gotten 36 before, so the live stream is not showing yet, so I can't put the link in there just yet. So looking at our star total right now, we have 32. And let me show a couple things just in case, let's see if there's a whole refresh problem happens here. No, we're looking good. But if anybody experiences the problem where you go in and it's doing all the animations, showing what people have been doing, and showing totals popping up in those green, numbers and letters and whatnot, and it makes it so you can't see what the star total is. We're always talking about this, how you can't tell where we really are. All you have to do is imagine I was in this, I came in and looked at this phase and it's sitting there filling up all the the star total. It seems like sometimes it goes backwards even. It was already filled and then it all goes backwards. You have to sit there and wait for it to all refill again. So if that happens and you want to know right now, and a lot of times I need to know right now, where are we? What do I need to do to change the commands and whatnot? If you just tap the next phase over in the the next territory and come back, that will usually make the total, where it's showing 43 million out of 71 million. Probably even the stars. Sometimes it's not showing all the stars that you already have. So usually just doing that, tapping in the next phase over, and then going right back will immediately refresh it. It might still show the green numbers popping up over the current territory and phase and whatnot, but at least that the total and the stars should refresh and should be showing accurately. So just one little thing you can try to keep in mind if you're ever curious or you're sitting there going, what the heck is going on? So I'm thinking that I believe we normally get 2 stars in the ship territory in phase 6, and we may have, I believe we had been getting 1 star in each of the ground territories in phase 6. So I'm thinking about trying to possibly limit what we do in the middle territory in 6B, just to try to get almost all of our deployment into 6C in the bottom, just to try and make sure we get that 3rd star. And I've got a graphic that I use that's got all the totals needed for all the stars and all the phases, that I use to try to help figure that out and put in the commands to figure out where we need to do our deployments. So I'll show that eventually here too. But the phase is just about to change, and I've got everything restricted at the moment just to be able to try to show how we look at the platoons and decide what to skip and whatnot, and what I have to go through to try to set the commands whenever I'm able to. It's really hard when I'm at work, when this is going on during the week. So here we are, bang, 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 phase change. And let's start in ships, because it affects, and all of the platoons in phase 6 affect something. All CMs really should be held until we do whatever platooning we can. So let's go in here. I've got them set to say analyzing. because we need to take a look and figure out. Usually I first look in 5 and 6 because that's where they're going to put stuff that we pretty much can't do. So it's going to come down to, what you have as far as what this looks like and what can and can't be platooned. So I know I have both of the original ties at 7-star, so if I ever see a TIE fighter, and I don't even have to look, I know that that's the First Order Special Forces TIE fighter. So I believe, have one of those. I think Mutai has one, so I'll also show our .gg page and how you can use that to look and see how many of everything we have. So let's see here. This one is, I'm not positive how many Kylo Ren's shuttles we may have, and I don't believe we have any silencers. So usually phases 5 and 6 or platoons 5 and 6 in phases 4 through 6 is when they just start throwing anything in. Whatever's in the game, anything goes. The brand newest thing, they'll put it in there. So let's move on to, let's see, they've got Kylo in here. We've got some Reapers, so we may be able to take care of that. Here. Yeah, we've got several Kylo's command shuttles throughout this. So usually 1 and 2 they make at least reasonable. So let's see here. Yeah, 1 and 2 we'll definitely be able to do. Beyond that, what ends up happening is you have to kind of look at what we have. So let me real quickly go to our .gg page, and let's see, if you go to Ghost Company, unit search, let's start with Kylo's command shuttle, just because there was a lot of those. Try to figure out how many we actually have, how many of these platoons we can do. So phase 6 we need 7 stars, we have 0, so we can't do anything that has Kylo's command shuttle. So let's go back to the game and take another look. So platoon 6 is not necessarily out because of that. We may be able to do it with Mutai's Special Forces tie, but 5 is out, 4 is out, 3 is out. We may be able to do 2, so it may turn out that we're just going to do 1 and 2, basically. Let's see here. Yeah, it's possible that we could do, we definitely have some 7-star Reapers, or, well, do we? I better check that too and make sure. Take a look at the TIE Reaper. And we have 1 7-star TIE Reaper. Thank you, Ewokspy, for getting your TIE Reaper to 7 stars. So we'll go back to the game and see what we got here. So we need 1 there. That one was out anyway. Out, because of Kylo's command shuttle. Alright, so we can do 1 and 2, and we could possibly do 6. There's not a lot of reason to do 6, especially if it ends up using light side ships that people need. A lot of people end up platooning into the platoons that we tell them to skip, and it doesn't really matter, especially say you platoon dark side ships. You're not going to need those for the combat mission, but if anybody platoons light side ships that could be used in their combat mission, you're not gaining anything. You're gaining, that stat, the platoon, the number of units platooned stat. You're gaining something there, I guess, but you're getting the same amount of galactic power deployed for that ship. So it's really not worth putting ships or units into platoons that are the same light or dark side as the territory battle you're doing, because you could bring those into your combat mission. And they're pretty easy, but every once in a while something can go wrong. It ties dodge 10 attacks in a row, and all of a sudden you lose a ship or two, and it could be worth trying to save everything you have just to be sure that you get through all 3 waves of combat missions. So, what I end up doing is, let's put in the command for ship platoons, and I'm going to put in platoon 1 and 2 capital only. And we're going to change from prohibit engagement to focus engagement. We need to do that ASAP. So we'll move on to the next ground territory. And same thing, I start with 5 and 6, because usually that's where they're going to drop the stinkers that you quite possibly aren't going to have yet. Holdos and tacos, and wow, it's not looking too bad actually. So keep going. It's not exclusive to 5 and 6. I've definitely seen some of the newer characters in earlier platoons. We got a wicket. We have a few of 2 wickets. So, well, but there's a holdo. So we definitely cannot do platoon 1 in 6B. So it may be worth, if you find that there's one you can't do, it's worth looking at the rest of them and seeing, is there something that either A, possibly couldn't do anyway, or B, takes a lot of like very useful tunes that it would be better to just skip. We're not going to get the actual platoon bonus if we can't do all 6. So if you can't do 6, you might as well do 4. And if there's a territory like, this isn't too bad, but it needs 2 Raid Hans, 2 Bigs, 1 Wedge, a General Kenobi, a Finn. There's things that, unless there's people who happen to have a 7-star version, but it's not very fleshed out, kind of sucks to have to put in there. So one's not too bad either. This one's really not too bad. So yeah, not sure exactly what to do with this one, because if you can do 5 and 6, they're worth more points, obviously, 100,000 territory points. It's not a whole lot. It doesn't actually get you all that much, but, it could come down to it. So probably worth skipping. We have to skip. It was 1, and yeah, I'm thinking maybe 3. So I'll go back and change the command to skip 1 and 3. We can decide that the one that we could finish, people will end up filling it up anyway. Either they're not reading the commands, or there's tunes in there that they don't need for their combat missions anyway. So this could change. 1 we just will not be able to do, so definitely include that. We'll have 1 and 3 for now, and change to focus engagement. And next we'll go to 6C. Start with 6. Alright, so nothing that we absolutely can't do there. I'm imagining there's a few people who have a 7-star ETH cough. I sure don't. But there's possibly a few. We could take a look and make sure that we do. That's a bit of a stinker. I know a lot of people like to use their original rebels, so I try to consider, ones that need wedges, bigs, Leias, Landos. That could really hurt people's abilities. So here's a Holdo in 2 and a Rose in 1. So other than depleting people's units that they have to actually play the combat missions, it looks like we could do 3 through 6. They're gonna have to give up their BB8. Yeah, I think otherwise it looks like it's at least possible. So we'll start off here. Setting it up to skip 1 and 2. And we'll change to focus engagement. And all of these territories, if you take a look at the little pictures, this set of platoons obviously affects the 2 territories below it. You can see with the yellow rectangles covering those territories. And then each of the others, I believe, affect the same territory. So I have the commands set. You look at the combat missions to wait for 6A and B platoons to fill, because the 6A affects both 6B and 6C, and then 6B's platoons affect its own combat missions. And it's the same thing for 6C. Take a look, I have the command for the combat mission to wait for 6A, the ship platoons, and this same territory, 6C's platoons, to fill before doing them, because you'll have the best opportunity to get as far as possible if you get as many of these platoon bonuses as possible. So I'm going to take a minute real quick to jump over to the YouTube channel to see if I can put a link in. There it is. Sorry if that was coming through. I think it was probably, but I'm gonna copy the link, jump over to Discord, and pardon me momentarily. I'm gonna type in, here's the link to the live stream. In case any bored individuals want to take a look. And let's see, to take care of the @member. Uh-oh, what did I do? Sorry for the delay, guys. Paste. Okay. That out of the way. Now, I will start to try to actually tune what I can help out and do. So, usually my brain is a little bit fried in these territory battles, and I have to go back myself and look at what to platoon in 1 and 2 only. Once you've looked through all of them and tried to analyze what all we have, what we don't have, what we can do, what we can't do, I have to go back myself and try to take a look. So I personally try to platoon ships that other people will want to have with them. Anybody in the light side territory battles, it's obviously easy to platoon dark side ships. You know, if they're exclusive ships, ones that, you know, Kylo Ren's command shuttle and TIE Reaper and whatnot, obviously, you know, only so many people are actually going to have them. But those people that do will easily be able to deploy them because they don't need them for the combat missions. So anyone with, you know, a lot of ships, the more powerful members that have lots of highly starred and geared and whatnot ships, I try to go ahead and put in take a quick look at both. Just get an idea of what all light side ships are needed here. And I'll put in a ghost, we don't have that many Poes, so I try to put Poes, X-Wing in there. Platoon those, get them out of the way. I personally have to always check and see which ones of the Wedge and Biggs X-Wings are which. I don't know why, I just can never remember. Let's see here. Umbaran Starfighter is a rather survivable ship, so anybody that has him probably likes to bring him in. I'll definitely give up my Ahsoka, and a lot of times I'll platoon a few, and then I'll go to the combat mission, hit battle. Right now I have to disobey order just to see this, see what all do I have left. Plenty of ships left, so let's see here. I can probably get away with, I'll give up my bigs just because most people are going to want to have their bigs. And actually not the greatest. He's not the greatest when you're doing light side because very few light side ships actually apply target lock to be able to make use of his taunt, which is ridiculous. So this one was bigs. So I'll assign my bigs. And what else? Jedi Consular, I suppose some people may like to keep just for the healing possibility. Nobody's probably got their Jedi Consular himself terribly geared, so it might not be the most powerful ship for anyone really, so others could very well want to or be able to deploy that, so maybe leave that for them, and I'll maybe do Umbaran and Plo Koon. Okay. So, another thing is, you can see what this looks like now. We're trying to only do platoons 1 and 2. Those are the only ones that we can actually finish and get a platoon bonus from. So, I personally think that it would be helpful for everyone to not platoon in the other 4. Hey, Ewok! Looks like Ewok jumped in. I've been having problems with maybe there we go. Alright.
So testing.
Yes, and at least as far as the live stream is concerned, there's Mr. Ewok.
I exist!
Yay!
I didn't realize I did have a problem with this.
And Black V is in also. Oh, he's got his mic muted at the moment, at least.
I was kind of
just because of the minions.
Nice.
I was kind of funny because I was looking at my settings when I was going in here, and I never realized I had 2 other titles. Because I have officer and member, and then I see elder of Murder Bear Village and leader of the resistance, and I see these kind of got snuck into there without me knowing, and I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, there was a time period where Molly got on a kick of giving people titles, along those lines.
Howdy, boys.
Hey, who we got now?
Drum Cub.
Hey, what's up, man?
Howdy. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. How about you?
Pretty good. My Ducks just went down 3-0, but other than that, I'm fantastic.
Oh boy. Oh, so this is turning into a regular old roundtable live stream. We got Ewok, Black V, Drum Cub.
Wow.
And we've
That's right, bringing in the boys.
It sounds like we got Kate in the background also.
Sorry, I'm always in the background. I probably am so creepy, but yeah,
No,
here
no,
I am.
you know what though? It's crazy. Whenever you start talking, it sounds like you're right there. Like I just assume that it's gonna be like, "Hey guys."
Yeah, I'm like sitting next to him, but still,
Nice,
we're just finishing our breakfast.
awesome. So pretty early for you guys there.
Well, it's Saturday morning, so I guess early is relative.
Oh
It's
yeah.
10:30.
But yes. For a Saturday, this is a little bit early. Yeah.
So I started the stream by myself, just going through and talking about. I had everything restricted and wanted to go through and just talk about how we look at platoons and figure out what to skip and what not to. Just in case any of the people who seem to just do whatever they want happen to see it and think, "Oh, I see now," Um, so
Well, I think we've had in all of our time. I think we've only had one rogue action.
yeah, well, that's because it's not very often that we actually restrict anything.
Right.
And also, I have no idea how to do a rogue action, so there's that as well.
It is if we prohibit activity in a specific area and then someone does it anyway, it'll come up as a rogue action on the list. So it
Do we
actually
get points for it?
tracks all the people who don't listen to the instruction, who don't listen to the, don't do this instructions.
Yeah, it's a very elite leaderboard stat that not many have ever achieved. So there was somebody early on that said, "I needed to do it just to see how it worked," and they did. It was probably just platooning something somewhere, but
Was it my
Well,
time?
it might have been. I can't remember at this point now, actually.
Well, I could go do the ship battle right now and get a rogue action.
So
Let's see here.
I don't know if anybody else has looked at platoons. I always have the hardest time myself trying to decide. It's easy to see the ones that we just absolutely can't do, but then say there's one we can't do, and then obviously of an odd number, is going to get you a little bit more points, but if it happens to be that people could save a lot of valuable tunes by just not worrying about a second one, and I have the hardest time trying to decide which one do we skip, that the second one that we skip so that people can keep, as much that's going to be valuable to them as possible. So I tried to set up an extra one, at least. Let's see.
Skip 1 and 3 for the middle. So 3 is going to be. Oh yeah, 3's got a bunch of. It's got a Wigs and it's got a Wedge and Biggs, Hera, and Sabine, and Lando, the big ones.
Yeah, so the reason I picked that was just for that reason. It looked like, people want to keep their wedges and all their original rebels. A lot of people that don't have real fleshed out Rogue Ones and Phoenix squads and whatnot, some of the better squads, they're trying to use those, so.
Yeah, I can pretty much. I know that for myself. In Phase 6 and 7, pretty much the Ewoks take a seat. They're not used at all because there's no place. There's only one light side battle. So pretty much in those phases, all my 7-star Ewoks can be platooned, whatever. I won't
Okay.
use them because there's only one light side battle, one non-rebel battle essentially, and that goes to the Resistance. They're just so much better at dealing with the CMs.
Right.
Oh, agree 100%.
That's why that was it. That one platoon in there was it on 3. I could see was it on 2. There's 2. Yeah, well, 2. There was a Finn inside there, and those are always the worst ones where you see a Finn as a platoon requirement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So,
I'm sure we've only got so many Zated fins to where some
yeah,
people, it wouldn't be as detrimental, but
we can't do that. We can't do 1 there. That's got Rose. That's got Holdo. God, the bottom one starting up really nice.
Well, I know when I'm platooning, I'm always trying to think of well, I just think of the squads that Boba's going to use, and then I try and fill all those.
that's
So if I see Phoenix, I'm like, "Oh, I'm filling these spots so that he doesn't have to use them."
Right. It's like Phoenix. I'm going to use Phoenix. I use Phoenix for my rebels. I have everyone's going to know. There's no rogue one to worry about. and then everyone's got light side, so there should be one light side one if it's resistance or whatever you're using, and then we have to remember in about 2 or 3 more light side battles we open up another special.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's gonna be awesome.
If we can, I'm hoping that in the next 2 ones we can get 1 or 2 more people to jump onto the Rolo faction, Rolo bandwagon,
Yeah.
because what are we at? If for all the people who've been here for at 27 out of 100, we got 34. We got 34 or 35 out of the last one. So we just got to get like 2 more people to be able to earn Rolo shards, and we'll get it in 2 TVs, not 1.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I want more candy bar nicknames.
Candy bar nicknames?
Rolo.
Oh,
Rolo.
Well, there's got to be something that could be a Three Musketeers and
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking,
the
yeah,
three Hans.
yeah. Oh, the 3 Hans.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh wait, there are 4.
Don't we have
Yeah.
4 Han?
There are 4 Hans now.
Yeah,
Damn it.
you got Vet Han, regular Han, Raid Han, Stormtrooper Han, and and Commander Han, whatever his name is.
What
And-
was
and-
Vet
no-
Han?
And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a 5th Han for this movie.
You think?
I'd imagine.
Yes. We're gonna get 2 more Falcons too, because they're gonna do a Falcon for the regular series and they're gonna do a Falcon for the prequel. So my guess is we won't see the actual Star Wars episode 4 through 6 Falcon still for a while. We're gonna see like the prequel Falcon. I'm gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
doing-
well, CG makes everything make sense, right?
yes.
Let's see here. Actually haven't looked at the. Yeah, when I saw Haldo yesterday, I was like, "Are you kidding?"
She's got. She will make a Rey team amazing. I mean, she was built to make Rey's Jedi training Rey amazing.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm not sure what my experience is gonna be. I've come across one of them with an unzated as of yet Holdo, a quintessential, really good Jedi Ray team in my arena that you was using Holdo like maxed out immediately, but without the Zeta, and it made no difference for me at least basically using the Plague. I use a Talzin and up to a maximum of 3 Night Sisters with then a kind of a varying either General Kenobi or Zeta Barris, R2, there's like 3 squads I have to switch between depending on who I'm fighting. But that Holdo squad without the Zeta just was no different. It was almost easier actually than something with like old Ben or. So I think that she was broken actually. She wasn't gaining the health she was supposed to gain when people lose foresight on her team. There's like one instance of foresight that she gives them, and when that one expires, she gets 10% health back, I believe.
But not when like Rey loses hers or anything else like that.
Right. So
Yeah,
that
but she doesn't have enough armor though. So like she takes so much damage, and I was talking with Mobile Gamer a couple nights ago, just like asking him like, does the change make any difference? And he's like, no, she still is not good.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's an AoE resistance person, so therefore you got another chance to do it with especially with Rays, just get exposed everywhere.
Yeah. So
Well, my problem with her is just she's just so slow. I mean, if she was like 20 speed faster base, I mean, she'd be amazing. But it's like I've faced a couple Jedi training Rays with her, and she just never gets to go. You can just take her out.
Oh, I didn't even see she started with a 70 speed. That's
well,
hard.
maxed with without mods, she should be a 90, I believe, which still is terrible.
At 90?
Yeah.
She's tied for second to last, or she's tied for last in the game.
Yeah.
With Baze.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So she's blazing fast. I mean, just to sum it up.
Phasing fast.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
phasing fast.
Phasing fast, yeah.
Well, what are you guys' opinion about, like Cub? I just saw you starting to joke around in Discord about, just thinking about what I am gonna want to use and trying to platoon in order to help me. Um, do you think that a few people getting, being able to use the squads that they're gonna do the best with and being able to use them, getting the, in this phase, I wasn't even thinking. For some reason, I was thinking like 700,000. I guess that's dark side territory battles. But do you think
Yeah.
that a few people being able to get, 5 or 6 waves and get that bigger number would outweigh them, not being able to do quite that much if they didn't keep, the tunes they needed for those 3 or 4, best squads they have? Do you think it really makes a difference? Or would it be better for
Well,
me to just not worry so
I
much
think
about?
well, yeah, no, I think the tipping point is getting more people to do the missions. And I mean, I myself am I'm trying to move away from my rebels so I can platoon my Wigs, my Lando, my Leia every single time
Yeah,
because I know that like the majority of our guild, that's what they're going to use this phase for rebels. And
right,
I mean, to be frank, it doesn't work.
right,
You don't get past the sixth wave. And if somebody else, because I mean, when I started, it was like, wait, who am I going to use? Like, am I going to use like Farm Boy Luke or something for that extra rebel match?
right,
So if I can, especially if somebody tries to platoon their characters, I'd rather have them be able to play the mission. So I try to kind of think about, okay, well, I know Boba uses Phoenix, so whenever Phoenix shows up, I don't use them. So I always platoon all my Phoenix, and then I platoon all of my Rogue One rebels because they're just the one faction that I had to sacrifice because I went all out on Resistance.
Hey, does anyone else? Or am I the? I'm not the only.
Is that kind of what you guys do for platooning?
Yeah. I kind of just sit there and I look at what I have, and I kind of sit there and say, okay, well, not everyone's got Zeta Fin, so I know I'm running Zeta because I can get through it. And I think if someone knows that they can get through all 6 missions with a team, they shouldn't be platooning them. There's no point.
Oh, agree.
There's no point. If you have a Zeta Fin and a team that can make it through, you should never be dropping them in. I don't care if it's going to complete a platoon; it's not worth it because you're going to get all 500,000 just for those guys.
right,
It's when you get to it's going to come up to us like, okay, well, are we all going to move over to Phoenix because Phoenix obviously can make it through the rebel missions, but we also kind of want to find someone else. We got to find another rebel team that can do it, because we can't just all transition over to Phoenix.
Yeah. No, I agree. That actually brought up a question. Are you running? You're running Phoenix through all the Rebel missions, right, Ewok?
Yeah, I've got most of my Phoenix out there, so Phoenix tends to be. I'm now no longer using Wigs or Lando or anything else like that. They're much more reliable.
So what gear do you have yours at?
I have Hera's at 10, Sabine's at 12, Kanan and Zeb are at 10, and Chopper's at 10. And I don't use Ezra.
You know, you do the team without Ezra.
Yeah, I do a non-Ezra team.
That's what I do too.
Interesting.
Yeah, I will either use Ezra along with uh, one of the special missions or whatever where it's a Commander Luke and he's considered a rebel. Sometimes I'll throw him in there, but otherwise I'll just platoon him myself also.
Yeah, Ezra's my drop one because I've got the Zeta on both Sabine and on Kanan. I want them in there, and then I want the protection boosts from both Chop and Zeb.
Yeah.
So I don't have room for him. He does great damage, but I need that protection. That's what's going to get me into that 6th mission and hopefully get me through it.
Right.
Yeah, well, so do you notice it takes a lot longer to beat it because he's the one who gives that stacking offense. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
that 40% offense boost.
Oh, it takes longer, no doubt. But I've seen where what Kanan's Zeta is like, if they AoE it, everyone's getting a free turn. If they don't AoE it and you actually get them to go off separately, Kanan's getting 2 extra turns, and he can immediately just pop that Zeta back up again, and you could just get a lot of turn meter. So while Ezra does damage, Kanan gives the turn meter, and I think that just trumps it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So, are you running the Sabine Zeta like Boba?
Yeah, I got Sabine's and Zeta and Kanan's.
And that
Okay.
that Zeta just is killer as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, especially because they can't counter it.
Yeah.
For all the counter I have over there, it's like, I don't care, take it.
Yep. It's insane.
Oh,
I mean,
they can't counter it.
nope.
Yeah, her Zeta ability makes it uncounterable.
Yeah.
Oh man, well that's a game changer.
It is.
Yeah.
That was the first Zeta I did on Phoenix, and I was like, "Whoa, Phoenix has arrived! This is amazing!"
Yes. It can't be countered or evaded.
Yeah.
They
And
have to take it.
it does huge damage if, based on how, being on a Phoenix squad, it throws stagger all over the place, and then whoever you're targeted on, probably Chopper is going to assist and immediately take that person's turn meter away, and it is just killer, absolutely killer.
Okay, well, I guess I'll take them up then. I'll take them up from they're all sitting at 8 right now, just staring at me. I guess oh man, what's the minimum you guys think I can take them up? Maybe like 9 or 10?
Gear wise,
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
I'll Zeta Sabine and Kanan like soon.
Yeah, like it is with when I look at my Phoenix team, like I said, most of mine are at 10. The only person the only people that aren't, I just have Sabine at 12. Everyone else is at 10.
Yeah.
And she didn't really need
Mhm.
to be 12. I just, I was working on the Ghost. I mean, on the Phantom. So
Is she one of the ones that only needs like one piece to get to 12?
to get no, she needs some fairly tough stuff to get up to 12.
Oh, okay. All
They
right.
had they had that one time where they sold gear 12, gear 11 gear that got you to gear 12, like fully crafted.
yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I could not. They got my money. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Mine too.
Oh man. I was talking to Boba about that when they released that, and he was like he wasn't trying to convince me, but he was like, "Oh man, it's totally worth it. You can get R2 up and all this stuff." And I was like, I had my finger hovering over that purchase button like so many times, even Kate. And then I was just like, no, I can't do it.
See, I'm fighting a battle in the ship battles over in there's my ship shard. We're fighting against a guy who's I guess he's a self-made millionaire on our side over there, and he's just buying up, trying to lock number 1 position from everyone. So I can kind of play in the role of no. I'm gonna keep up with you.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, what's your opinion, Ewok, especially having gone so far into ships and, giving Zetas to pilots that you would never Zeta otherwise, and, I know I've been experiencing it, and I've seen a few of the game changers talk about it on, in videos of theirs, how especially Warrior showed one where he did a few battles and then went in and showed like the opponents every ship and the pilots and whatnot, and was like, yeah, I've got 2 Zetas over this guy on this ship. I've got a Zeta and Gear 12 pieces over this guy on this ship, and he still couldn't win, just getting terrible RNG. What's your experience? Does it seem to you like the the AI's RNG has gotten even worse, well, better for the AI, worse for you in the last maybe several weeks to a month at all, or what's your experience? 'Cause
It's not bad. It's you essentially I haven't lost a battle in, I'm gonna say, 2 months now. Through everyone I fought. It's more so
Whale.
I built a team that
Sorry.
yeah, I built a
team that kind of relies on that target lock, which I think everyone pretty much builds teams that relies on target lock nowadays.
Right.
And that's the thing is that I've seen people kind of go, well, all I need to do is have my first order TIE fighter, and that will give me my target lock. It's like, no, that's a terrible way to target lock it. It's only got like a 55% chance or a 35% chance. It's like, you're playing the numbers. That's why you either want to have Vader or Biston in your team, because both of them guarantee a target lock.
Right.
And Biston, neither of them can be avoided or countered. So you're going to hit that target lock no matter what. And that kind of gets rid of that RNG aspect over there.
Right.
And of course, if you can get one of those target locks early, like if you can get the TIE fighter pilot or the first order TIE pilot to hit a target lock, then again, you're still waiting for the RNG of if you're running off a Biston one. I'll tell you what, 50-60% of the time, my TIE fighter will get the target lock, and he will get the turn meter boost, which is not what I want.
Yeah.
I want other people to get it so that they can go before the other team, which is, the whole goal of that thing is that you can just cycle people down and essentially kill off someone before their bigs can even get that can get his taunt up. So it's I don't think it's gotten harder, but I don't think I'm a good person to ask. And you want me to ask this? We're talking about I have 1.3 million GP in ships alone.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty substantial number.
Yeah, it is.
It's I've focused on that entirely, and I'm gonna keep on focusing. I'm in like 100th place in arena, and I don't care. I'm like I barely try anymore because the Ewoks don't have the muster. They can't do it.
Right.
I've now determined that even if I were to fully gear them up, and they just can't beat a General Kenobi Zaris team. They can't do it.
Huh.
They can. They need about 8 minutes.
Oh.
So because it takes the right combination of Paplu knocking away General Kenobi's taunt, and the and then you getting enough damage onto someone else, usually onto trying to take out Zaris. So what you do is you critical lot. You hit Zaris so she has a critical immunity. Then you take away the taunt from General Kenobi, and then you bash Zaris. And you hope that none of your assists pull Paplu, because then Paplu will get rid of critical immunity, and of course then the taunt pops up back again.
Right.
I see. Yeah.
It's a game because you don't do enough damage. Against the highest level person I had, I spent 2.5 minutes with a 5-member Ewok squad, and I couldn't take Zaris on alone. She was the only one left, and I could not beat her.
Wow.
Plus, the only person that would do damage when they criticaled, actually tick it downward, was Chirpa, and he'd do about 2,000 points of damage. Everybody else, whenever they criticaled, she'd heal, even
Right.
Wicked.
Wow.
And it was like they don't do and Paplu does like 800 points of damage with his basic. He's like what's his face? He's like Baze. Everybody who does the remove buff on basic has damage for that attack.
He hits like a wet noodle.
He hits terribly. I mean, his taunt one hits pretty well when he does his mid one that gives him taunt. But in the end, if you can keep him taunting, you can keep Paplu alive. This is why I use R2 in my arena team, because I just give him do the soft taunt, and everyone's got to attack Paplu. And I've seen it where they get Paplu down to 1/4 of his life, and by the time Paplu goes again, he has full health and half of his protection back.
Nice.
But that's I've Zetaed 4 people on that team, and it can't hold up against like a 2 Zeta team.
Yeah.
So I do not recommend Ewoks for arena. I will say that right now. Everyone who's thinking about Ewoks for arena, stop. Just don't. Please.
Well, here's hoping that they are going to give Palpatine a Zeta, and that's just going to change things entirely here shortly.
Did you guys read that whole Theorycraft thing from that one guy's post?
I don't know if I did.
No, which was this?
It was like a super, super long. Somebody claimed to like have inside information. Of course, that's never, really all of it true. But apparently, It didn't confirm the dark side Anakin that everybody thinks we're getting. It said both Vader and Palpatine are going to get a Zeta. They're going to give us a bunch of Empire characters, like generic Empire characters, to help us on dark side territory battles. And supposedly, at least according to this guy, they're going to go straight to free to play. So they'll go straight to shops, because we haven't had characters in shops for a while. So they'll probably be like, I don't know, Empire officer or Empire AT-AT driver or whatever, but just to like help us in dark side territory battles. And then there are apparently going to be some more marquee events, like a bunch in February, so apparently it's, according to this guy, it's going to be a beefy month for dark side.
Well, if they do that, that's going to be really, really. I think it will help, because there's going to be a lot of characters that old people are going to want to farm from older shops. And like you said, we've looked at there's like 12 less characters on the dark side.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
And especially when you have 2 different missions that require Empire, and you're going, okay, well, there's 13 Empire characters, which means I need to have 10 of them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
They need to infuse a lot of dark side characters into this.
Well, and I was doing the math, looking at like when we actually get further on in those dark side territory battles, you've got like 2 Empire missions, and then you have like that Veers mission. I think there's one phase where you have 2 Empire and then 1 Veers, and it's like the amount of characters you have to have specifically for that is just, it's crazy.
Huh. Are you
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because I know like this last one, I was able to get all waves completed as far as the ground missions. And I definitely was not using more than one Empire team that had. I basically used like 4 total squads that was bounty hunters, night sisters, troopers under Veers, and a Palpatine with a myriad of basically AoE Empire tunes, and I don't remember anywhere where I needed more than that. You're talking about a phase where you.
I think it's the phase that has it has the one mission we can't do yet.
Yeah, it's phase
Like,
6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
In
okay.
phase 6, in phase 6, we have a trooper phase where we have to drop a probe droid in with our troopers, because we all wanted
Yes,
to break
that one.
up.
Yeah, correct.
That's phase 6. So you have the trooper team, 2 Empire teams, and 1 dark side team, which means you will need 15 Empire people. So in order and let's see, the game currently has 17 Empire people, one of which is the probe droid.
Yeah.
So you're going to be, which means 15 of those 17 will need to be at tier 10, tier 11 just to compete in that phase 6.
Right.
It's like, no, that's horrible.
Oh boy.
I
Well,
mean, I look at my Empire teams and I'm going, well, I've got 10 already up there at gear 11 or higher, but still, that means actually you're going to need to bring up Krennic, or you're going to have the Gar Saxon, the Imperial Super Commander, or
Oh jeez. Oh.
No, I'm boosting up Gar Saxon and the Imperial Super Commander because they're crew members.
Yeah, I was
course.
gonna say you probably have the max for ships already.
No, that they're 7-starred, but I do not have them actually. Gar's at 9 and Imperial Super Commander's at 8.
Oh man, you're slipping, bro. You're slipping.
There's it takes a lot to work on these ships. I want to be able to sit there in a territory war and go, yeah, here's my best ships out over there, and still have 3 insane ship things just to wipe out people's ships.
Seriously, man.
That's my goal, is to be the guy that can wipe 3 ship ones out with just my guys. That way, it kind of takes off some of the pressure.
So I'm interested to see if we get one more capital ship, if you'll be able to put 2 teams in for defense and still have 3 teams to attack with.
Well,
at this rate, I'm working on the Kylo Mast and his silencer, and I'm working on that. Like all I'm doing in the guild shop is paying for the ship. I'm not worrying about the pilot yet, but I'm paying for the special forces tie. So I'm gonna keep on working on that one. So I should have a 7-star of that eventually. But yeah, that's my goal. My goal is to 7-star every single ship. I'm getting close.
What are you guys doing as far as either Kylo Ren Unmasked in Cantina and/or Sith Assassin, Sith Trooper, starting with all the rumors and everything? Is anybody working on any of those specifically?
My Sith Assassin's already 50 shards away from max, so
Okay.
I'm like going, wow, I get 30 shards from the game, and I just got to farm for 20. So I'm not farming him until I see something come out, cause
Yeah.
I just shards. But I'm just smashing that Kylo Unmasked at this point in time.
Yeah, I
I'm-
was.
Oh yeah, I dropped everything. I dropped everything and started farming because my RNG is just I don't know. I was talking to Mobile Gamer. I was like, hey man, I don't know what's wrong with this node, but I'm getting ridiculous drops. And he did some tests on his like he was just testing to see drop rate, and he man like what he found was in the first 100 refreshes you get pretty good RNG, but if you go further than that, it drops.
Ah. So I wonder if it's worth, because for me, for instance, like my Sith Assassin and Trooper are, not quite to 50 or so into the 100. And I'm sure you've all seen me complaining about Sith Assassin. It just seems to me like, and it's weird because other people have said no. I mean, she's showing up in my guild store no problem, like all the time. But when Kazi Spoon posted, to the beginning of trying to squash the whole Revan rumor, don't go farming based on unsubstantiated rumors. She straight disappeared from my guild store. Like, if somebody else didn't tell me that, no, I'm still seeing her, I would have thought they literally removed her. I haven't seen her in weeks. So then I started,
I've seen her twice. I've seen her twice
yeah,
in that time period.
I went to Kylo Ren Unmasked, just because, I was interested in trying to get that, him and the ship, since it's so easy, and I noticed the same thing, great drop rates and whatnot. But then as soon as Sith Assassin became the character of the month, I thought, okay, there is something going on with Sith Assassin. What the heck? So I started to, like every other day, go and farm her in Cantina because I'm only to maybe 30 to 40 at the most shards for her into the 100. And man, the drop rates, I sat there, I was sitting over at Darth Sharm's place and showed him because he's had no problem either. He's seeing her here and there in the guild store. He's kind of jumping back and forth between her and Sith Trooper. And he's like, no, I'm having fine drop rates. And I sat there and showed him like 2 or 3 full refreshes. 0, 0, 0. And he's the type of guy that sits there and figures out little, ways that he goes about things, whether they really are making any difference or not. Always sims 2 at a time, and he's like, if I spin 2 and get nothing, I exit the game, remove it from the background, and go back in. And I think, yeah, there's something to basically RNG. Everybody knows kind of what RNG is, but I've heard and played around with things in the past where the RNG is like a series that is set at some point. It's not like, you go to play or you go to spin and, something is randomly generated right then and there, and then the next spin, a new thing is randomly generated right there. There's evidence in some parts of the game where, like, you enter the game and RNG strings are set. And if you just start playing and, spinning something 2 at a time or whatever, if it's a, a farming type thing, or the same thing with the RNG of what happens in Galactic War. If you go in and you take a squad in, and everybody at this point has played around in Galactic War to where, you could try the same battle over and over again, and if you do it in the same order, the same things are going to happen. Somebody that should be able to stun doesn't get a stun on a particular enemy tune, so you're like, okay, well, I'm going to retreat and go back in and try stunning someone else. No, they are not going to stun that turn, period, no matter who you attack. And it just seems like there are strings of RNG that are set when you enter a mode or you enter the game or something. So that is part of why he would exit the game, remove it from background, come back in, and try to get a new RNG string that you're working in, basically.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that. It's like, yeah, I used to always do that with Galactic War, and I would move the character, their position around sometimes,
Yep.
and that would actually change something, because they would attack the other team would attack a different person.
Yeah.
So I realized that it's not character dependent; it's actually like position dependent.
Yeah. There's also, like, in Galactic War, it doesn't matter so much now because there's nobody that can't beat every team in their Galactic War, but you could also go in, try a team, see what the RNG was, it sucks, so you exit. If you change to a different team, go in and play, and then exit, and bring the original team back in, even without changing any positions or anything, it will be a different string of RNG all of a sudden.
Hmm.
So there's something to that. But anyway, the reason that I brought all that up is because I sat there and showed him. I was like, all right, I'm gonna take, your tutorial here, and I spun 2 on Sith Assassin and Cantina, 0. So I exited, removed the game from the background, went back in, spun 2 more, 0. Exited, came back in, spun 2 more, 0. It ended up being like I got 4 shards from 3 full refreshes.
That's painful.
Yeah. So, I mean, just from my perspective, there is something absolutely up with Sith Assassin. Became the character of the month, removed from my guild store, can't get her when I spin Cantina battles, but other people are having no problems, so I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm getting the same type of RNG from Death Trooper.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, same thing. Like I'll do like two or three refreshes, and it's just like, yeah,
All of
it's
that.
death.
I mean, those guys are every single one of them up on that top tier in the cantina. The drop rates are just horrible. I mean, they might just remove the Omega from the rewards because it's just ridiculous how low that drop rate is.
Agreed.
And I remember looking at the veterans when I was just sitting there farming them for raid, going like, 2, huh? 2 in a refresh, 1 in a refresh. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Where I get like 3 shards. I get like 3 shards through my initial run. Like I save it up. I'd save it up for the next day. So I generally save up once I get hit 600. I try to save up all my energy for the next day. So that way, when the refresh comes around, I'll have a full amount of energy to put into the next day. So it's not that hard to get my 600. And then they pop. I'd go like, okay, I've run that. Wow, I got 3 shards. Let me pay for a refresh. No shards. Really? I paid for a refresh and you give me nothing? It's just,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I just
If
spun.
they just, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I had 144 Cantina energy sitting there, so I just spun on Sith Assassin, and I did get 1 on the first set of 2, 2 on the next set of 2, and then none for the rest. So I don't know if CG is like watching this or something.
They're listening.
And
They're
when-
listening. Yeah.
better give them something, huh?
Yeah. Well, I started thinking that too. Like, I haven't spent any money on the game in like a month or more. Are they like punishing me? Is there like, any kind of, drop rates that I've been seeing were based on like tracking of like money spent in the game or something? And it's like, they increase drop rates based on how much money you spend. But
Well, my drop rates would be shit.
yeah.
Yeah, we would. Kate and I wouldn't get anything.
Yeah, I think it's all confirmation bias. You see a trend that you think is happening, and then the more you see it, the more you buy into it, and
Yeah, I know they won't ever do it, but I would really love to see the odds. I know we're not supposed no not supposed to tell us the odds, but I want to see them.
Yeah, really. Well, that's the thing. I know people had talked about wondering what was going to happen with the whole. It's a bigger thing, but say with the Apple Store specifically, they changed their terms of service for app creators and developers or whatever, so that you had to display the drop rates for loot box style rewards, so that it wasn't like, because it's gambling and you had to, list the drop rates, and people are like, oh, what is going to happen to this game? That's what it's all about, is, it's a lottery type of thing most instances. But the problem is that they always have and already tell you the drop rate for everything that you literally spend money on. The whole reason for the crystals, and the reason that the things like, the terrible drop rating like cards where you could get anywhere between 5 and 330 shards, that none of that has ever cost money. None of it has ever said $9.99 or $2.99. It's always crystals.
Oh yeah,
It's
and because you can, because you can earn crystals through the game, they don't technically have to give you the set drop rate.
exactly.
Sneaky little boogers.
It's underhanded for sure.
I mean, okay, I'm okay with some sort of lottery, but like 5 to 330, maybe we could narrow that up a little bit.
It's
Like, I'd be okay
insane.
with taking
Or
take the max down to like maybe 100 and be like 25 to 100
Yeah.
or something like that. I don't know.
or just give it, because right now they're looking at what it takes, what, $200 or something to actually
It's
buy
300, I think.
$300 to buy a character outright to 7 stars.
Generally, I mean, you can get, that's the problem with this stuff, is that 2 people could spend the same amount of money and obviously get completely different results. It's just like the way the Zeta challenge works. One person could end up getting like, 1 to 4 Zetas like every week, and another person can get 0 for weeks on end. It's like,
Oh, you could get more than that. I mean, if you rolled 2 each challenge,
oh
You
yeah,
can get
well,
up to Zetas.
yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
no, you
I'm
yeah,
get
you could get a
12 Zetas.
I'm being conservative based on nobody's gonna get
okay.
two. Somebody that's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
lucky is getting 1 or 2 or 3 per, say, double weekend, or it happens 3 times a week, and somebody that's lucky is probably gonna get 2 to 4, maybe 6 if they're super lucky. And another person could just get 0, 0, 0 week after week. I've gone through weeks, I'm sure everybody has, where you get 0. And I know I've heard people talk about going 6 weeks, 7 weeks without getting any. And it's like, man, I'm not complaining for myself necessarily. I don't have the greatest luck in them, but I get them here and there. But it's like, that is such an important resource that if somebody just based on dumb luck can get nothing for weeks and weeks and weeks, it's like, ugh.
Well, I had a dry spell. That's actually why I started saving them. Is I had a dry spell like after I unlocked the Zeta challenge. I didn't get a Zeta like the first time you get those guaranteed Zetas or whatever. And after I unlocked it, I think I went 3 or 4 weeks without getting one. And I was just buying them.
Yep.
'Cause and I was just like, man, this is, well, why did I unlock this challenge?
Seriously, and it was not easy, back then
No,
at
it
least.
wasn't. Yeah, I had to drop everything and farm dark side and like do all that shenaniganry just to like open it up, and then I'm like, I did all that for this?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I remember unlocking it. I remember unlocking that, and I don't know. I think, and again, this might go back to the hey, you could see you see the trends that you want to see, but yeah, if I tend to buy a Zeta, a good number of Zetas during the week using actual ship credits, then yeah, I tend to end up pulling at least a Zeta or 2 during the challenges.
Yeah,
But if I,
that's. Well, go ahead.
yeah, if I don't sit there and buy the actual Zeta, the game like punishes me, like, oh, you didn't get one by buying it, you're not getting one for free.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely confirmation bias.
Yes.
Because generally, other than in a few spurts, I have spent almost all of my fleet currency on Zetas. Before I had the challenge done, after I had the challenge done, there were a few key ships that I used, that was the only place you could get it, and there's still a few that I have not finished that you can only get in there, like Gar Saxon's, the Gauntlet, and is that, that
Yeah, the
might,
Gauntlet.
that might be the only one that you can only get there that I haven't finished. Anything else, I thought Clone Troopers, Arc, whatever.
Wait, have you done
W.
Rex and Poe? Rex and Poe,
Rex
are
and
those
Poe.
all the way 7?
I do
Yeah.
have Poe at 7-star, and I ended up buying early on some amount of him from there. But any time that I was buying ships, I was splitting between ships and Zetas from there, no matter what. But probably 70% of the time, I've bought Zetas. Nothing but Zetas. So I can tell you that buying Zetas constantly does not necessarily make it so that you're going to get Zetas dropping from the challenge, because that's not been my experience for sure.
I'm at the point now where I actually spent the fleet tokens on General Grievous because of it. They keep on saying, "Yeah, we're gonna have a refresh of him." And we're going, you know what? I'm gonna get him because if they do have a refresh, it's gonna be hard to farm that guy.
Yep.
So I'm at the point where I have I got every ship and every character that ship fleet has to offer, every single one.
That's
And
awesome.
I got them all done, and now it's like every single day, it's just buy Zeta, buy Zeta. So I get one Zeta per day now. It's working out really well.
Yeah, definitely.
I've taken a drastically different approach
Yeah.
because at a certain point, like once my Zeta bank got up like really high, like where it's at right now near 120, like I decided like I need all my ship. I need to be more like Ewok and get all my ships to 7. So I've gone on a rampage as far as I think I've 7-starred all except for Saxon, Rex, and Poe, and they're all getting pretty close. And then I buy Grievous whenever he shows up, and I've even started like some of the characters that I don't have 7-star because I'm kind of in a Pokemon got to catch 'em all phase where I just want to 7-star everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so
plus,
if I don't have a 7-star, I buy it.
Yeah.
and
If I can
And I haven't bought a Zeta in a really long time in there.
for me it was if I can't find it anywhere else, I'll buy it from the fleet store if I can't get it anywhere else, okay, I'll just suck it up and deal with that one. If it was anywhere else farmable, like this is also available in Cantina, I'll be like, I'll get into Cantina.
that's
Not
where
worth
Cantina's the only one that, like, for instance, Genosian Spy, like he's in Cantina, but my Cantina energy is too valuable, like mods and all the characters that I don't have. So if it's in there and I can only find it in Cantina, I still buy it in Fleet.
No.
that's good. Well, you also have a different perspective as far as fleet currency goes, sitting on what, 6 unused Zeta mats worth of, or Zetas
Yeah,
worth of Zeta mats.
I have 6 full Zetas. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if you're experiencing the game, each of the modes in a way where you feel like you don't need to spend those, then you kind of have a different view of the value of those
Oh,
currencies for sure.
Well,
Right.
it's not necessarily that like I can't spend them. It's just that because I'm free to play, it takes so long to gear characters.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have no reason. Like I think the first time I told you, Boba, you're like, well, we can find somebody to Zeta right now, and you went through and you're like, well, actually, well, they're not ready, and oh, well, you have them already Zetaed. Well, you don't have them ready. Oh yeah, I guess you don't have anybody to use it on.
Well, you're in a perfect situation for, the winning of the one of the many lotteries where all of a sudden they rework a character and add a Zeta to a tune that you already have fleshed out and geared and whatnot, and then you're in great
Oh,
shape. So
yeah, I will tell you if they give Vader another Zeta and they give Palpa Zeta, man, no hesitation. I'm just gonna pop it right on.
yep.
Yeah, it's good. Same thing, especially Vader, since he's a ship captain.
Oh, he's like he looks like I don't even care if his Zeta is good. He's a ship pilot.
He is a pilot.
He's a pilot. Don't make.
Uh,
He's not even in my. He's not even in the reserves of my arena, my ship arena team anymore.
Vader?
Oh wow.
Yeah, Vader's not in it. I don't even have him.
So tell us what is your starting lineup and what are your reinforcements in order if you can.
let's see. I'm pretty sure I know them by heart. It's I'll open up anyway. It's definitely Biggs and Biggs Biston, first order TIE fighter, and Biggs Biston, first order TIE fighter, and and the Reaper.
Okay.
So that's my starting lineup, which is because a lot of people now on my shard are using the Reaper, because if you don't have a Reaper and the other person does have a Reaper, you're not going to be happy.
Right.
It just
don't fear the Reaper. Yeah.
you fear the Reaper very much. Not on my head. But so my other ones are in the background over there. I have for defense, I put Sun Fac first. I hardly ever use them when I'm actually attacking, but with the number of people with Thrawn out there, I put Sun Fac there. So if they happen to if my defense doesn't take somebody out, which we know the AI is notorious for attacking random people without any real sense, they don't actually focus on one particular ship. So usually, what people do with their Thrawn is they'll pop the buff.
Right.
So therefore, my next person coming in is going to be Sun Fax, who should then defend against all that buffs. Or if someone pulls in the Scimitar, Maul ship, same thing. Everyone's buffed. So Sun Fac acts as the defender on there. I have the Scimitar next in case he falls down, and also because I tend to use that as my first reinforcement when I'm attacking. And then I do have Vader in there. Never mind, I did. I have Vader, and then I have Cassian's U-wing. The reason I have Cassian's U-wing is Cassian also has I think he also has an unpreventable target lock.
Okay.
That's what I was looking for. Since Biston is pretty much your, there it is. It's on K2SO's ability is inflict target lock and tenacity down for 2 turns to target enemy. These effects can't be resisted.
Ah.
So all my guys under there are either going to be defensive or are going to inflict target lock on somebody. That's right. I keep Vader there. I keep Vader there for the TIE fighter.
Right.
Because but Biston's usually the one I use for that. Because remember, Biston, if he's stealth, Biston can hit anything and they can't evade.
Right.
So
you definitely use whatever squad to climb and then change to a different squad for defense?
Nope, I use the exact same for offense and defense.
Oh, okay.
People want me to change because they get very upset.
Yeah.
My squad currently is what am I? I'm at 9th and I'm about to do my climb. I don't generally go below like 13th on the So most people don't get. Now I'm on a really nice ship shard. We're all pretty good buddies, but still, I'm pretty boosted. It's hard to beat me.
Yeah.
I've had people, a lot of times, even the people at the top, I'll attack them, and I don't lose a ship. I still have Biggs alive by the time they go down. So
Wow.
This squad, because the Reaper is really what does it. The Reaper keeps people from reinforcing. So if you can keep on killing your opponent's ships, they don't ever get to reinforce.
So, tell me this: how do you approach, when you're attacking? Do you start with Biggs? Do you just start trying to chip away at Biggs, or do you try to take a chance at either starting with like a first order TIE pilot on the enemy squad, or starting with the Reaper? Because
always the first order.
You start with that?
Always try to take that first order TIE fighter out.
Okay, I do the
the Reaper has too many hit points.
Okay.
They can't reliably take their first order TIE fighter out before their stuff goes and they get their taunt up, and it's like, then all hell breaks loose at that point in time. No, I can't even with my power, I can't reliably take it out. But that TIE fighter, that first order TIE fighter, it's got like 80,000 hit points. And yeah, I generally can take it out. And the reason I take that guy out, he's their main damage dealer right there on the bat. It gets turn meter every time someone else hits target locked enemy. So you have to remember that that's the turn meter gainer. That's the other turn meter gainer. So he does lots of damage, and he gets turn meter whenever somebody else attacks. And I've seen him leaving him unchecked is usually the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed somebody on my shard chat, mentioned, I think, somebody that was weaker and, would need help climbing and stuff, finally got their Chimera, and they're like, hey, give me some advice, what do I do, blah, blah. And, he kind of listed this. The first thing he said was go for the first order TIE pilot first, try to get rid of him, and I agree, definitely, obviously, if you can get rid of him, he's the biggest damage dealer. But I also notice that I more often get a target lock when I attack him first than if I were to try to go for bigs. A lot of people just start trying to chip away at bigs immediately, assuming that the enemy's going to go pretty quickly. He's going to be taunting anyway. You're not going to be able to do much before that happens. But I've noticed myself that I get a target lock way more often if I start with first order TIE pilot than I do if I were to just start going for bigs immediately. So
I bet you big.
Well, and I also run. I mean, I'm probably doing it wrong, but I do kind of a combination. So I have Boba in my. I have the Slave 1 in my opening lineup, and I go for that first order tie first, but I save his AOE so that if Biggs taunts, I can usually take him out.
nice.
Yeah, so target lock on him, you can hit him even if Biggs taunts.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I like Slave 1 tends to be my, if Slave 1's out in the field to start off with, he's my second target. Like I'll skip the Reaper because no, I don't want that. I don't want his charge, whatever that is. The sonic bombs are brutal.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you get that off and then follow it up with Thrawn's AOE. Yeah, you won't. Most teams won't survive that.
So, I particularly noticed a shift in once everybody got the Chimera. It seems like most people on my shard are running, at least as their starting lineup, Biggs, the two ties, Vader, and the Reaper. And I was trying to run Biston, and man, I started noticing like myself falling way more. It could just be, you can't avoid it, once a lot more people have some of the better stuff, but I switched back to Vader instead of Biston and went with what everybody else seemed to be doing, using the Scimitar as their first reinforcement. And I stopped falling quite as much, but I definitely have a much different, at least the reinforcements. So I'm wondering about trying out like exactly what you're talking about, because my Sunfac is maybe gear 11. I definitely don't have like, oh, my pilots that I use are as maxed as they can possibly be. But would you think that something like you're running, even without having them totally maxed with Zetas and gear 12 and gear 12 pieces, would still do better than, something with Vader?
I'm not sure. I could tell you the people. I could tell you that I could tell you who the most important person on the team to probably max out first is. Like if you want to peg the person to max out first, I would say the TIE Fighter. You want to get him geared up like everything because he's
The first order.
He's the fastest ship. If you have all of his gears, he goes like at 194 compared to the 1892 that he's without his gear 12 stuff.
Yeah. Did you say First Order or Imperial?
No, the Imperial.
Okay.
The Imperial TIE Fighter is other than Poe, the Imperial TIE Fighter is the fastest ship on the field. I think maybe this silencer now is going to give them for their money, but
right.
It's that's the Imperial TIE Fighter. That's your first chance to get target lock.
Right.
So I have him he's at 194 speed. That's him completely maxed out, everything over there. People haven't done that yet, which means I always go first in every combat.
Right.
And until people start to really gear that TIE Fighter up, and since a TIE pilot is not very good for arena, not many people are doing that.
Right.
They're not at the resource there. But if you do that, you will get to go first. That basic attack, you have a 70% chance of hitting that target lock and getting your bigs already taunting before they can do anything.
Okay.
And if you're on defense, that's you know how the defense AI works. It's
yeah.
like that goes up to like a 90% chance.
Right.
And I was just thinking if they're giving dark side love, right? I mean, I hate theory crafting like this because it gets me excited for no reason. But what if they were to give the TIE fighter pilot a Zeta on his AoE and just add days?
Oh, I would it'd be on there in a second. That would
Oh, in a second, yeah.
in a second. That would be the Zeta. If they went, here are all the new Zetas we're putting on there. TIE fighter pilot would be the Zeta I would drop. It's by no. I have to keep him fast. I want to and have to keep him fast.
Yeah.
He's without the speed. Without that speed. He's going to have problems. It makes it much more difficult for me to maintain the dominance I do on the field.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna end eventually. Eventually, I'm gonna have the situation where other people will have him powered up, and I'm gonna be, dealing with that. But in the meantime, it's making things pretty easy for me. Especially because a lot of people aren't investing a gigantic amount in ships. They're still looking at the arena because it has a better payout in crystals.
Right.
But I want the 1800. I want the 800 ship units every day.
Yeah. Really.
I want Zetas, and that's what I want. The crystals you can get in many different places.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. I thought I had seen some mention of it, and kind of recently I had gone back and tried to look for it, just Google search and look for this information. Did you notice, especially with as much as you've done with taking pilots just for the sake of them being pilots, beyond Gear 12 and Zetas and whatnot, I thought I saw somebody talking about it even being one particular Gear 12 piece that was the piece that move somebody's speed up. Did you notice that? Like whether it was like, it doesn't matter which one, it's when you get the third of the three that the speed goes
Yes.
up, or?
That is exactly what I've noticed. It's a specific point where the power level of the unit kicks the speed up again.
Oh.
It doesn't matter which tier, it doesn't matter which gear you use. All that matters is that it has a gear on it. Yeah, all that matters has that gear. It has the gear on it itself. So
Okay.
yeah, but you don't hit 194 on the TIE Fighter pilot until you have all three. You like same thing with Thrawn. There's certain thresholds where it goes up.
Right.
That's really why I'm gearing them. It's not so much for the damage or for the minuscule amount of extra hit points they get. It is all speed based.
Right.
I want to outspeed every single unit on the field. And
All right.
that's why I do it. And so it's you. I mean, you could certainly get away without it. And if the rest of your shard isn't doing it, then who cares?
Right.
But for my purposes, the big guy over there, he tends to. I'm not sure if you've heard about the auto people, the people who just auto through their ship missions, their ship arenas.
No.
We have two people on our team who are really adept at it. That guy with the money can generally run from rank 22 to rank 1 in about 6 minutes.
Whoa.
And he autos in about 35 seconds. He can beat each person by autoing through it.
Wow.
And he just autos, refresh, and we have to watch him because the goal is a lot of times I'm sitting there. It's not my payout that's the problem. It's Pacific guy's payout. So if I have attacks left, I'm sitting there at like rank 9 or whatnot, waiting for him to pass me by.
Right.
And I'm refreshing. And then once I can see him, I grab him and hold him. Okay, guys, you got 7 minutes. So, he spends like 300 crystals a day trying to get first place.
Yeah.
So he's not after the crystals. He's literally after the I want to be first.
Right.
But I'm just saying that the auto thing, it's the ships don't have enough tactics to require people to actually be paying attention to what they're doing.
Right.
And so, but to get back to it is he can't auto me. He actually has to stop.
That's awesome.
Everyone else, and for me, it's like a long, drawn-out battle. I'm sitting there refreshing, going, "Will you just beat me already?" Because he gets beat, but
Well, he may be playing like tactics and trying to throw you off, or if you're gonna watch him and snag him, and he's trying to make you waste as much time as possible. It's possible.
oh,
At least.
that might be true. And I'm just like, all I'm doing is, could you just finish the battle? Because I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm gonna end up here, you're gonna end up there, and I keep refreshing until I see him, and then bam, I grab him and I hold on to him again.
Yeah,
And
I have.
come on, he hates me. I don't know. We tried to bring him into the shard. We tried to be like, hey, we have the ship shard. You want to share? You want to share things? And essentially, his guildmate told us to go suck an egg.
Yeah.
And said, we don't care. Now we're just gonna attack all of you and all of your guilds every single time because you tried to be nice.
Right.
And okay, guess we're gonna treat you like you treated us.
Yeah.
So
It's
actually so.
Well, Boba's his shard's assassin.
Well, I'm not anymore, thankfully. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Ewok.
that's unfortunate.
We.
I was bragging to Mobile Gamer saying, "Oh yeah, my guild leader's like the ultimate assassin."
Well, I mean, I was up until I got sick of having to do it, and I'd told a couple different people about this, but Ewok, I know exactly what you're talking about, because there's a guy that for months, once I joined my chat and people started telling me, what the situation was, and my payout has like 9 other people besides me that have been rotating and collaborating forever. So I was just like, well, I don't really, that's a difficult hour for me anyway. I'm just going to hang between 10 and 20 and not try to get into all that business. So they're like, well, okay, well, if you can help us with this one guy who just had, I think when I first joined, he was running like a mace lead, and he had a squad that he could only beat certain teams with. But every single day he would spend whatever he had to refresh over and over and climb from the 50s, from over 50 every single day, and do what he could to try to get down to first. And it was just super easy to just totally catch him, in the between 10 and 20. I'd grab him and I'd lock him, and then I'm the type of person, I'll spend 50 crystals just to refresh to help somebody else, not help myself necessarily. And so I would just do what I had to do to hold him up and make sure he didn't mess with all these other people. And eventually I got sick of it, and I was like, they claimed that they had tried for months to get in touch with him, and just same kind of thing, a guild leader that was just like, I'll tell him, but I don't think he's interested, and he doesn't really communicate much anyway, or whatever. So I got that information. Who do I contact to try to get this guy from my shard mates? And they're like, well, here's the contact, some his guild leaders in Discord, even though their guild doesn't use Discord or whatever. And I wrote a little love letter basically and said, could you please forward this to this guy? I want to help him. I spend every day messing with him, and I'd rather help him get up there and have him collaborate or whatever. And he finally ended up contacting me personally in Discord, and now he's in the chat, and it's all fine, and I don't have to deal with him at all anymore.
Right.
So
yeah. Oh, maybe eventually we'll talk to him, but he doesn't care. He just bustles on through, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? For us in the chat, it is fun because it's a field day trying to collaborate and control. Like we're all going like, okay, you grab him now, and we're gonna lock you next. And
yep.
In the end, it actually brings us all really close together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like that for me in my arena shard. We've got a whale, one of the Team Instinct guys, that literally has absolutely every toon completely maxed with everything you can spend money on, basically. And he hasn't taken first in the 6 months I've been in my arena chat, just because there's 4 to 6 of us that are all working together, and it's easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're better off working with everybody. If someone sits there and comes in and says, "Hey, we got a new person coming into our shard, and they are, now they're on the Easter payout," I'm like, "Okay, we'll split, we'll share. Well,
Yeah.
I'll do every other." I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
Let's be nice about this,
Seriously.
But some people are like, nope, I have to have all the things.
Yep.
It's why I help the guys in the Pacific Time. It's like I'm not competing with anybody. So if I only have 2 attacks to get down, speaking of which, I better start thinking about making my move down there. So if I only have 2 attacks to get down there, which will be today, I'm rank 9 going into my run up.
Yep.
So I'll have my 3 attacks. They'll bump me back, and I'll sit there and lock BD. That's Big Daddy is his name.
Okay.
So it's even worse.
Well,
We
hey,
come up with names.
I definitely was going with think what I had set in my ship, especially reinforcements last, was something based on what I saw Warrior real recently. I think it was when he was talking about how the RNG has gotten real bad, and he was showing how, you know, his squad was just way more fleshed out than this other squad as far as Gear 12 and Zetas, and look how the RNG basically makes it so I cannot beat this guy. And I kind of set things up based on what he was using, just kind of assuming he'd probably have about the best type of setup you could use. But I'm interested in trying what you're talking about. My, you know, pilots and whatnot are definitely not anything like what you have, but I had been using Poe, always having him in my reinforcements, not necessarily first as far as defense and the AI calling him in, but just for my own use, he would almost always be my first reinforcement because it would be worked out to the point where hopefully the enemy Imperial tie would have possibly been hit by Thrawn's AoE or something, you know, so that he doesn't quite have full health. And then I'd bring Poe in, and it's an instant kill every single time. You know, I would
Right.
just save him for last, bring Poe in, and then take him out. Is there? You talked about kind of using Vader that way instead.
I'll bring in Vader again because I have Biston out there. I'm trying to target lock everything.
Right.
Because every time I target lock, Biston's going to give someone whatever the amount of turn meter he gives. Because I happen to buy one of those packs that I bought one of the packs that gives you gave you that rare ship material to get the final abilities.
Oh yeah.
And I happen to have the Scarborough Pathfinder's ability at level 7, not level 6.
Right.
So I'm getting so my guys get 30% turn meter every time that someone target locks. Someone's gonna get that 30% turn meter. So
wow.
I since I have that, I will just sit there and go to town every single time. You know, that's why I want to. That's why I like it.
Okay.
So I bring Vader in, yes. Because Poe's a one shot. Poe I found out was one of those. If you haven't hit the TIE Fighter and he's at full health, you have to use his special ability to give him the offense up in order for him to be able to kill the TIE Fighter instantly.
Okay.
Someone offense downs him, you know, which people are wont to do everywhere.
Right.
Offense downs him in between there. He can't instant kill. He gets the one shot, and now you're still dealing with a dodging TIE Fighter.
Right. Right.
I brought Vader in because Vader doesn't care about that. Every attack is going to be that way. But generally now I use Biston. The only problem is you have to watch out for the bug that Biston has that they're never going to fix because it would make him even more broken. I'm not sure if you know about the bug he has.
No.
Biston is bugged in the fact that one of his powers doesn't work exactly as you'd hope as we want it to. His basic attack says that he'll hit somebody. If he's stealth, they can't dodge. It can't be his basic attack can't be evaded.
Right.
Well, they do both.
Oh.
In other words, I'll attack the TIE Fighter. I will hit him, and then it might dodge. So it will still activate the turn meter for the capital ship, even though I hit him. You'll see the dodge. Words come up there, even though I hit. So he's bugged in the sense, but he will always hit the TIE Fighter. He still will give the capital damage. I'm okay with that as long as the damage is done to the TIE Fighter. That's all I care about.
Right.
Oh, but still, there's that bug there. If you're going to use Biston, you're going to see that, and you might curse yourself. You might curse at it because you're like, no, you shouldn't be dodging. Yeah.
So can you run down real quick again what the order is of the reinforcements that you use?
The order I use, Sunfac and the Scimitar are my reinforcements on defense. I'm hoping I could bring something else in, but essentially I put nothing but the 2 defensive guys out there. I've seen people use CT5s also with very good results.
Okay.
One of the people on my shard, instead of bringing Sunfac, they pull CT5 out. CT5 is also good. The reason why I like I like to put that there is if they survive if that person survives through my next reinforcement for some reason, which people will ignore Sun Fac. If another if they're not all buff, they'll go for someone else.
Right.
When the scimitar comes into play, then Sun Fac then the scimitar is going to target back. It always targets tanks first.
Right. Right.
So it's going to target Sun Fac, and Sun Fac has that cool thing. It'll target him. He'll get retribution, and then Sun Fac gets a what do you call it? Sun Fac, whenever he attacks out of turn, target locks the opponent.
Okay.
Every time he hits with his basic out of turn, he target locks, which means if Biston's around, hey, look what you're doing to me. You see, that's my defensive strategy there. I've seen other people do CT5s because then you do the same thing. CT5s gets the scimitars boost, and he just debuffs. He just debuffs everyone on all attacks.
Yeah.
Probably the most annoying ship out there, I think, is CT5. He, yes, you give the other person turn meter, which is why I took him out, because I didn't like giving other people turn meter.
Right.
And so, but he's also very good, a good stand-in for that. If you don't have Sun Fac or you don't feel like running that one, but you got those two, and then the other two, it's really irrelevant. It's just they're there for, okay, I need something utility for when I'm attacking.
Right.
Because I don't think I've ever hit. No, I have, but it was like one time I hit the third reinforcement.
Right.
It's rare. So that's usually what I go with. That's what I've been going with so far. Cassian is like, I rarely, if ever, used him. Mainly, I have him in there because he had higher ship power, and he has a target lock. So
Okay.
it makes me it makes my ship squad look better because I'm at 471 in the arena.
Yeah, it's a psychological tactic.
Yeah, so I'm never going to really use him, but yeah, he's there. I could put the Phantom. Actually, I might put the Phantom. It's a little bit higher power and has a target lock. Has double target lock, actually. I forgot about that.
So I'm trying to decide. I'm setting up with the normal squad with Biston in the starting lineup, Sunfok, Scimitar, and then I feel like I want to keep Poe in there.
Well, you can't. Poe is perfectly acceptable as instead of Vader. You just want to have something to take out that TIE fighter.
Yeah, but do you think really Vader is a better option? Or would it be silly to have Vader and Poe? Is there no reason to choose between them, or?
It's not silly to have them both. That gives you 2 times the ability, because that TIE fighter, you bring out Vader or Poe. Either one you bring out, they're glass cannons.
Right.
They're taken out so quickly.
Right.
So yeah, having another one out there is preferable. My suggestion is that when you're attacking, have your Biston target the TIE fighter if he can. If he's stealth and has the basic, hit the TIE fighter.
Okay.
Because it'll be an attack. It's a guaranteed hit. So even if it gets some turn meter, at least you know that TIE fighter is taking some damage. And I think Biston's. I think Biston? I think it's also isn't it guaranteed critical at that point in time? It is. No, where is it? Where is his thing? If the Biston's U-wing is stealth, the attack can't be evaded. It ignores the defense. That's what it does.
Okay.
Not that the TIE fighter has any defense, but
right.
I tend to use that. I tend to use him as my TIE fighter clearer because he's already on the field. It's a guaranteed damage, and yeah, if I give them turn meter, I give them turn meter. I've been taking away with the Reaper, so I can afford to give them a little bit of a turn meter. I have taken a couple of times out with this squad. Depending on RNG, on the good days with RNG, I can take out their entire squad without them being able to get a capital ship action.
Yeah.
On a bad day, when I'm not target locking anything, yeah, it's rough. I think right now, while the ships are still so heavily dependent on that RNG, it's going to be like that. When they add hardware, I don't even know what's going to happen there. I'm kind of scared. I think my wallet is more scared than anything else. I'm just hoping it's something that requires ship creds. But
dude, man, I'm learning so much right now. I don't know about you, Boba, but I'm just like
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
listening.
I'm playing a ship battle right now with what I just set up. It's not going great, and I'm probably not doing things the best way that I could, but absolutely. I've definitely not paid attention to ships like I should have throughout their life. That
it's
is for sure.
I look at it going, there's so many people who focus on arena, and ships aren't really as focused on. And
Mhm.
when you what the rewards you get are less crystals, but it's zetas. Like 1800. If you get first every single day, it's 1800.
Yep.
That's plus all the rewards you get for dailies. Um, what do you call it? All the rewards that you would get for dailies brings up to I think it's like you get like 1950 if you're first place. So it's almost a zeta a day.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, the other thing that I look out for when I'm looking at ships is if they have a Vader out there. So like I'm doing a ship battle right now. I took out their first order TIE fighter before they had a chance to go. The next thing I was doing is the next thing I was doing was going, okay, what do they have left? They have Slave One, TIE fighter pilot, Biggs, and Vader. That's who else they had out there besides their first order TIE fighter. The I took out the first order TIE fighter, and then when it became Biston's turn to target lock, I actually target locked Biggs. The reason I did that is because I saw he had Vader, and Vader was going to go. Vader is going to get that target lock off, so I knew I was going to get taunted at that point in time. So it's kind of like playing the field, going, if you know you're going to get taunted, focus on the guy that's going to get the taunt. If you can get around and if you have a chance, try and take out the other person first. And in general, what I end up doing is what I call I end up actually attacking with my basic attacks a lot more than the side attacks
Yeah.
because I'm trying to get those target locks off. Because in generally I'll get more. I'm not getting any target locks in this battle. I got one target lock in the very beginning, and that was it. So
It's definitely easy to go quite a ways without any target locks.
yes, but it's essentially like, so I'm trying to, like, I got Zeta, I got locked away from with Biggs. I think the next thing I did though is I took out what's his face. I actually took out CT5s because I have a lot of trouble with him when he's out on the field.
Yeah.
He just too much troubles. So because someone will get the what do you call it? They'll get that they'll get the scimitar out there, make him the target, and I'm like, oh god. And then all those you can't taunt. You can't taunt. You gotta hope to be stealth. It's just too annoying. Yeah. Yeah, this guy actually did a correlation. Actually did a good number on me. Yep, there it was. I just got my dodge damage against the TIE fighter, but it doesn't matter. It was it killed him. So yeah, it's the one thing you have to watch out for that. But Biston is still, if he's stealth, he will hit. So something to always remember about him.
Yeah.
He also gets through like CT5's armor because he doesn't care about the armor.
Right.
So he's a great ship overall. He's not terribly slow. He's what 100. If you have his ability up, I think mine's at 180.
Okay.
So it's not terrible. And that's the other thing that I look at people. Some people will have some people will put in other ships, and they're like they're really slow. And people aren't looking at the speed of their ships as much as they look at the speed of their ships and their people.
Right.
And the reason why people use CT5 is he's fast. I mean, looking at just one person's over there, he's in the 180s. There's some other ships out there just terrible, like the Phoenix Squad. Their ships are slow. The Falcon, I think, is also slow, which doesn't make sense. Yeah, the Falcon
Yeah, right. It's supposed to be the fastest in the galaxy, right?
Yeah, and here it is going at a speed of 151. I have fastest in the galaxy. That's which is why I don't use it. It's too slow.
Mhm.
You know, people use it for attacking. That Millennium Falcon Kylo Ren shuttle trick. It seems to be great for climbing.
That's what
You
I
know,
hear. Yeah.
it's it's amazing for climbing. You just don't want to have it as your defensive one because it won't work. It won't work on defense.
It's got too many abilities. Too confusing.
Too confusing for the AI to figure out what it should be using and what it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You want it. You're pretty much trying to guess what people are going to have and hope that the AI, does what you need it to do. And I think the squad I have tends to be pretty good on defense. I've seen some others out there, but unfortunately, I can't tell you what's really good on defense because I haven't found a squad yet that I haven't found a squad that I can't beat. So again, and I'm pretty good with these guys. Like I'll sit there and I'm not trying to dominate out there. I've even offered, it's like, hey, if you guys are having problems knocking me out, just let me know. I'll put like a clone pilot in. When I'm in first place.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that last ship out and then I'll just make another attack and I'll drop a clone pilot in.
Sure.
Whatever. I don't want to dominate it. I just
No. I do the same thing in Squad Arena. Like half of the time, especially if I take first, but if I'm in the top 3, I put in my old school droid squad so that I know the guy, because I know all the guys after, in the payout after me, and almost all of them will be like, hey, could you swap your squad, just because at least one of them could beat what I normally use, but the other 2 are like, it's gonna be like a 50-50 kind of thing, So I hear you.
Yeah, trying to be nice. That's
yeah,
the thing.
seriously.
Wait, Boba, did you switch to Jedi Training Ray, or are you still running that Night Sister squad?
No, still Night Sisters.
Okay, that's why they're having trouble beating you, because they're Jedi Training Ray.
Right. And it's if I was using the a normal Night Sister squad with a weak zombie and all that business, it probably would be different. But I had to try to tweak things and figure out what to do once Jedi Training Ray came out, just because I didn't have 3 Zetas minimum to put on them to have them be competing with the other best Jedi Training Ray squads out there or whatever. So at this point, I've got 2 Zetas saved up, and I'm hoping something really cool is going to happen with Palpatine or something dark side to use them on, but I just figure that if it isn't, if we're completely let down with whatever this month is supposedly bringing, maybe I'll get started on that squad with those Zetas, I guess.
I'm hoping that between that there's some synergy with all these with the Empire pilots that I've been focusing on, Vader and Thrawn and Tarkin and the TIE fighter pilot. It's like I'm hoping for an Empire refresh that's gonna make me go, okay, I got an arena squad now.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hey, real quick, I need to step away actually for a second, but on the live stream I put up that chart that has all of the territory point totals per phase, and if you guys want to take a quick look at it in Discord if it's easy, it's in the Territory Battle Strategy 2, I believe, channel, and it's at the very end, kind of like a covered in like yellow and red and blue type colors or whatever. And we were talking just for a minute or so earlier about whether to go for the second star in 6B or 6C. It looks to me like basically it requires nearly 13 million more to go for B, but man, I'm just imagining we'd be able to get a lot more, from the 2 combat missions there. So if you guys want to talk about that for a second, I need to step away for just a moment, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem.
50. I mean, if you have 50 people, if we have 40 people participating in those CMs, and each person gets 200,000 from the gets 400,000 from the 2 CMs over there, that's 400,000 times 40 is going to be that's 16 million. No, yeah, it's 60.
Yeah.
It's 16 million. So
yeah, 16 million. Yeah.
Even if only 40 members, no, that's 16 million, but then it would be 8 million. So see if this for the same thing, the CMs on the bottom equal out to 8 million points. So
yeah,
you see that there's that difference of 8 million doesn't quite make up for the 19
For the difference, yeah, for the difference in the max.
difference of 13 million. It's not quite there, and that's only if everyone can do 200,000, which is really conservative.
Yeah,
Obviously you have other people like me, Boba, and the rest, and some of us who can hit 5 or 6 of each of those combat missions, and then you got some people who can hit only 1 or 2. And this is just
yeah,
assuming we was it? I think I said 200,000 is what, 2, maybe 3.
yeah. I
So
think so. Yeah, 200,000. I think is. Yeah, I think that's 3.
I think it's 3. What, 191 is like the number or something like that.
Yeah.
So I would sit there and be hesitant about saying the middle, because I don't think we're going to make the combat missions enough to make up the difference of that 13 mil.
No, I agree. I think it's bottom still.
I think the bottom needs to go. We just don't have the force yet. Now I don't know our new members. I don't know where they stand on this one. This is the first one time we see.
Yeah, Boba's the one who's been tracking the participation. I've started doing the daily tickets every day because we have a couple people that are consistently only doing like maybe 200 or 300 energy or 0 a day.
Yeah, and even free to play, be able to be like over 500 every day, right?
Oh, Kate and I are almost entirely free to play, and we're doing 600 every day. So that's not an excuse.
Yeah, the goal. Yeah, I mean, that we just want that because in the end, people are like, well, yeah, they're just raids, aren't they? Aren't they old hat at this point? And I look at it going, no. I mean, the guild currency is some of the most valuable currency out there.
Yep.
In my mind, it's like that's where you're getting the chabantis or whatever you want to call them, and the stun cuffs and the whole displays. Those 3 things that every single character needs to level.
Yep.
Plus, it's got those amazing. It's got those amazing. It's got Stark and it's got other characters out there that people are just going to want to have. So I think, yeah.
Well, not to mention you get the shard currency.
Yep.
And that's extra gear. You got. I mean, it's just. I mean, I think Boba put some post where he's like, well, even if everybody does 600 every day, maybe that's like 1 or 2 raids extra a month. And I'm thinking like, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's like 3,000
Yeah.
currency a month.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it absolutely is, for sure. The only reason I brought that up really was just to keep that in mind, that that's what we could gain by, in order to achieve that, we'd have to turn into the type of guild that requires 600, and you're going to get booted if you don't do it, basically.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna. I think I want to go there though. I mean, it'd be nice, but we end up risking losing more people than we would actually keep.
Right.
And then we
Yeah,
end
well, I mean, to be honest, looking at the last 3 days, there are only like 4 or 5 people that are consistently not doing 600. I think a lot of people are just forgetting and just aren't making it a point to check it. And I think honestly, if we just like made not a requirement, but just like, guys, like, I don't, yeah, I don't really know how to do it, but basically like call people out for not doing 600. Not that they're gonna get booted, but like, dude, like step up your game. Like everybody else is doing 600 and you're slipping. Like 5 out of the last 7 days you haven't done it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely some amount of even just cheerleading, if you will, that we've never really done, or we've only done in tiny little spurts. Somebody will pop in and say, "Hey, what's up?" We could try to do more of that, just in game, even.
Yeah, it's like when I'm dropping the hey, we're only 300 away from the next tier of the weekly challenge.
Right,
It
right.
doesn't do all that much, but in the end of the day, that next tier means everyone gets more guild energy, gets more guild currency, and that's the one that I have like nothing of.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I
Yeah,
spend that.
yeah, I think that model might work better because that's like
Yeah.
the 10 attaboys to every oh shit. Um, so I think that may be the better political option for sure.
Yeah, I think just kind of giving people a reminder, hey, just look out for this. Maybe you can,
Yeah, well, I can say that also I'm definitely I've talked to Cub about this a little bit. I'm going to be screenshotting all of the totals, mainly at the bottom of the leaderboard for each phase in this territory battle. Gonna get some stuff from Territory Wars, and then Drum Cub is also taking screenshots of the Daily 600. And the people that have overlap, they are letting us down in multiple areas of the game. I'm definitely gonna talk to them and possibly move toward. The thing is, I don't want to like say there's 5 people that are just, they're just not into the game like they used to be. They can't keep up with all these things you have to do all the time. We don't want to lose them all at once, probably, because it's gonna
Oh, for
be
sure.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be mainly in-game like requests that are gonna refill spots because man, the alliance rotation is just it moves really slow anymore, it seems. I don't know if it's just because there's no action while, these guild events are going on or what exactly the deal is, but for a couple weeks almost, we moved from like 10th in line to like 6th or something. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. And then,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know if you guys are on many like Facebook groups or anything.
no,
But
there's
I'm on a couple, and there's always people. There's a lot of people that go on there and be like, "Hey, I'm looking for a guild," and they're like, and they post, and they're like over 2 million GP, and they look like, I mean, obviously, if they're active enough to post on a Facebook thing,
yeah,
they're probably pretty active.
yeah, we definitely could. I mean, I just have kind of uh I don't want to say been lazy, but just hadn't like looked into and done much along those lines with what a lot of guilds that aren't in something like the Alliance, would be familiar with and trying to utilize all the time. Like, cause there's Discord servers too, where you can just look for a guild that aren't part of a community necessarily. It's just a much
Oh
bigger
yeah, of course, yeah.
community-wide thing, and we've just had such good luck for so long, not needing to ever fill slots that just kind of never got like real into that whole, looking around and, finding all the different avenues you can find. So,
I mean, we're not gigantically pushy, and I think that you get the hardcore guilds out there, and there's some people are just like, this is way too much for me,
right.
and we're just trying to find the right balance that everyone here can feel like, okay, we can enjoy the game without it being too much of a job,
Indeed. I
and that's
think
the big.
I will say that today we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. We only have 16 people that haven't done 600 and none below 278. So at least there's no zeros today.
well, that's good.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. And I mean, it's 12:10 or 12:11 here. So we've got, over 2 hours left. So maybe we try something out like what you suggested, Ewok, and just put like an all member, like, hey, if you guys are around, let's try and max out our tickets today. Like we're pretty close.
I don't think I think someone had suggested. I don't think I was the one who suggested it. Somebody else had come up with that. I mean, I use an example of what we've done. I don't want
Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
mean,
but yeah, I mean,
maybe let's try it and see if it works. I mean, we're at 27,000 right now.
yeah, it's worth putting a shout out in Discord and possibly in the in-game chat also. And part of, trying to analyze the bottom few, there's a few names that are always at the bottom of every list, And if
Yep.
we can end up, figuring out, yeah, they're just not going to improve, we need to move on from them. Hopefully, not only will that start to fix some of the problem, because I mean, just the people not participating in these guild events is just soul crushing. It's like, are you serious? We have to like scratch and claw for like the 2nd star or 3rd star in phase 2, phase 3, and that just sucks. So, what I was kind of also planning on doing is if we figure out a few more people to possibly move on from, and start to somehow, and I've tried this in the past with just like a general check-in, hey, at member in Discord, if you are reading this, like hit the thumbs up or post hello or whatever, just to, because there's a lot of people I think that just don't check Discord anymore also. There's a lot to do, but I think there's a fair number who are just not seeing things that we post in Discord as well. So as amazing of a tool and help that should be for communication, I don't think it's, as useful as it could be or should be at this point. So most of the people that, that we were like, hey, at these 6 different individual people, can you log in and just deploy? They never respond. Ever. It's never worked. It's always been somebody that just, was going to eventually anyway, and it wasn't one of those people, and they just log in and say, oh, sorry guys, in game, and say, sorry guys, just woke up, whatever, doing my thing. So we need to try to find a way to work towards all people who are at least doing the bare minimum in game, and all people who are willing to respond to at least like the red notifications that come up in Discord. So hopefully,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, hopefully it won't take too long, because I mean, it takes a lot for me. I hate like having to kick people, having to be like anything but awesome and nice and have fun and whatever. But at this point, it's like it's really hurting the whole guild. These handful of people who are just letting us down all over the place. To where I'm ready to just be serious about whether or not it's worth keeping them around, just because they've always been there. They don't communicate, they don't help anymore, so I'm ready to move on from them personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing. It's like we're not asking for much, and it's not like it takes a lot of time. It takes all of a minute to deploy all your stuff out there for a territory battle.
Right.
That's it. Drop your stuff. If you don't have time, just drop your stuff in one of the territories and go. You didn't have to play CMs. Didn't have to do anything. At least give us your GP.
Right.
And it takes.
Yeah, and I feel like the handful of people that I'm generally talking about, and that most people have probably noticed, like, to confront them, assuming I can even get a hold of them somehow. Most people that are in that position don't respond to anything in game. Half of the time don't respond to something in Discord. It may be a fleeting thing where, half hour before a phase is done, we try to get a hold of specific people. They don't respond in time. They, I guess I can understand them just never responding at all, because why say, oh, sorry, I didn't see it in time, or whatever. But so it makes me wonder if, I finally am able to get a hold of some of these people to have a serious conversation and say, what is the state of your game and how you're feeling about the game and how serious you are anymore. It's going to be a total surprise to them that there's a problem, because they just, are kind of not really paying much attention and not really invested the way the rest of us are. So
Yeah, we're at the point. I mean, they got so much stuff in the game that we're kind of want to do good, and we want to improve, want to do better. And I think what really is getting all of us a little upset is that you have 40, 45 people working really hard, and 5 people riding on the coattails of everybody else.
right.
Just help us. We're not asking you to be the star player here,
Right.
but at least bring us.
Well,
some
we're so close to quite a few rewards. I mean, we're really close to that cutoff in territory wars where we get like way more stuff, which is the cutoff is like 38 or whatever.
In battles?
In battles.
in battles.
Yeah. We get like that extra box or that extra chance at a better box or something.
Right.
Like we're really close to that cutoff, and then especially in territory wars, we've been like just a couple million GP off that third Zeta bonus.
Right. Well, I mean, that may be looking a gift horse in the mouth, possibly, because I'm curious to talk to you guys. I don't know how much time anybody has still, but about territory wars, because we've come up with our current defense, and So far, obviously, in at least 2, if not 3 or more, it's been amazing, but it seems like because of the amount of members that we've had join and that making our galactic power lower than 100 that we bring in, um, we're getting guilds that are obviously less powerful than us and obviously not terribly organized, and so I'm really curious to find out, even if we say the next one we go in and we don't have 100 million and we're put up against somebody that's similar, and um has, a good strategy, say does something like what we do and puts, Kenobis and CLSs in the front in whatever way to kind of front load like we're doing. Um, Sorry, I'm looking at the in-game chat and generals letting me know that the platoons are finished. Hold on just a sec. I'm really curious how we're going to do, because obviously our defense is good, and even a better guild is probably going to, have a little bit of a harder time than they would against a weaker guild like we're experiencing, but how are we going to do with what we're keeping, are we going to be able to get through a wall of CLS and a wall of GK Barris? We haven't really seen that so far with the defense that we're setting up, so I'm curious to find out how we'll actually do. And then where I was really going was, if we get to the point where we have, we get enough people to join that we're over 100 million, we could end up being paired against a guild that's more powerful than us, has even more resources to put on defense and make it even harder than we've ever experienced before. I'm curious to know how we're going to do in that situation also.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I've definitely thought about that. But I mean, to a certain extent, is like I'm thinking bring on the challenge. Like if it's harder, I like that idea.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, we're not going to really know how we're going to do against it until we do. And the one thing we have to avoid, which we're trying to doing, is trying to make sure that we don't get too down when we lose. It's going to happen.
Yep.
We're not We're not the amazing. We're not Team Instinct. So let's not be delusional here.
Yeah, and I guess really, if we do get to the over 100 million tier, and we lose, we'll be getting 2 Zetas still. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So the rewards will still be the same as us winning now.
Oh, well, wait a minute. No, it won't. Actually, I'm looking now, and the active GP between 100 million and 109.9 is 1 Zeta.
Oh, we have a Terry reward coming up. I didn't see that. Yeah, I think it's.
What?
Yeah, in second place, you don't get 2 Zetas until you're over 120 million.
We need the 120 million mark for that. So
Oh,
we're
jeez.
we're still far away. We still got what? We're still 12.5 million away from that level.
Yeah.
So, but do you get three? Do you get 3 Zetas for a win?
No.
In that 100? No.
Oh, and 2. Yeah, you get 3 for a win and 2 for a loss. 120 and above.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess we don't have to push. I thought it was that. Yeah, I was wrong. I thought it was that 100 to 109.
No, we're not at that level yet. We are. I would love to be there. We're certainly not there yet.
Yeah, even above 110. Like, we get to 110 that we can actually bring in and win, we're still only going to get 2 Zetas, and that is going to get tough, probably. Fighting against another...
Certainly. But I mean, if we have 4 or 5 more GK Zeros to throw around and, like, say, we could fill up, like, nearly GK Zeros. I mean, double wall.
Maybe one day I'll actually Zeta Zeris. I don't know. She doesn't have a ship.
That's so fantastic.
I have CLS and I have Jedi Ray sitting there at gear 10. I mean, at gear 9, and I look at him going, I don't want to Zeta him. That's why I think my arena team I was gonna go first order originally because I'm like, well, they have ships.
Hey, there
So
you go.
I was like, going. I've seen a couple of first order teams doing really well in the arena. I was like, okay, I can live with that. And I've already got my first order TIE fighter zated. So, but yeah, I think for the territory war, we'll just keep pushing forward with that. There's no reason to be scared about it, and hopefully we keep winning. There's a good number of people who are voluntarily going, okay, I can't really focus on this game. I'm out. Trying to cull a couple people who are just not playing it that much anymore, getting people who are more active. That will help territory wars because then we can actually rely on. I wish everyone would put that ship in. Like, it's just put your best arena ship fleet in there. I don't care if it's a 150K fleet and it's terrible. Just put it in there. That way, each person just has to supply one. And I don't know why it didn't get done. I mean, any ideas why that happened?
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, at least a few of them could be these same people that just, are not terribly active, don't, look at it in time or whatever, which seems insane considering you have 24 hours. We always have the commands set up ahead of time.
Yeah,
but...
you have 20 hours to come up with this, to do that, and you should know what your fleet is out there. Just put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And but you see people like who is it that's always is it Mai Tai that's always doing the huge amounts of defense?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's draining on. I know it's draining on him because he's like, I'd really like to attack at some point in time.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not very good with attacks, because I drop my Ewoks on defense, and then that's it. I don't have a CLS team. I don't have a Jedi raid team, but I can manage. I'll find the weak teams and go for it. But I pretty much leave that to the people who have really good arena teams for that.
Yeah. You have Zeta Finn?
I do. So I have that guy. I have that.
Well, yeah, he's a pilot.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's a pilot, yeah, of course I have.
Well, I mean, what's your opinion then, Ewok, as far as the ships are concerned, with why we're not able to get through the enemy ships? I mean, and especially if everybody put their arena squad in their best squad, and say two guilds did that, both guilds put like all their best 50 in. Would you imagine that would basically make it so that like you'd almost surely gonna have to use more than one fleet to beat the enemy fleets?
Yeah, and I think it makes a lot of sense that we're not busting through them, because a lot of people don't have enough ships to make 3 extra fleets.
Right.
People don't have the Chimera, so they only have 3 fleets in general to start off with. And for some people, ships is like their least of their concern. They have 1 ship fleet and that's it. So they have nothing else to give.
Right.
For attack. So I think that we're not going to see, in this there's a severe investment. I think we aren't going to see ourselves beating through that back layer of the ships. But that's what we want. We don't want them also busting through ours.
Right.
So I think I hear noises upstairs, which may mean that my one here might be coming to a quick end.
Sure.
It depends. I'll see if I have a knocking on my Lego door. Which is what I've been doing down here. While I haven't been doing ship things, I've been smacking away on my Falcon Lego. So
there you go.
So, do you have any new ones recently?
This is the big one. This is the $800 Falcon Lego.
Oh wow.
This is 7,500.
Oh, 7,500 pieces. Damn. Yeah, that was gonna be my next question.
Whoa.
Yeah. This is what I choose to spend my money on when I'm not giving it to EA. Up there, knocking on my chamber door. Hello.
Hello.
I talk with some people that I play on the game. They're on my phone. All right. Well, I'm gonna get going because I can't stay on. I'm best to relieve my wife so she doesn't feel like she has to watch all the girls the whole day.
Sure, no problem. Awesome to get to chat finally, man.
Yeah, I'm glad finally the time that I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. But you heard what we talked about with the territory battles, right, Bubba?
I was away actually, but I can talk to Cub if you need to go. We can talk about it more.
Yeah, it was easy. We pretty much said we should really go with the bottom.
Oh, you think?
Yep.
I don't think we have the numbers.
Okay.
So you can talk to Drum Club about it, but that's my take on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, plus right now I got a singing girl in the background.
All right. Hey, thanks again, Ewok. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully get on another time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll plan something.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Have a good one, man.
Yes. I don't know what you need. Let me get off here. So
I got a
I don't know how to get off it.
Daddy, where's my
Hold on.
Daddy?
Yes, hold on. I'm trying to. Where's your cutie mark? Okay.
All right. So you guys
Did he finally figure out how to get off?
I think so. Do you guys crunch the numbers and you think we should go with the bottom?
Yeah, we just basically looking at it, it looks like being conservative, if all the members averaged out to be able to get like 200,000 or 300,000, which is like getting past phase 3, which is like the guarantee.
Yep.
It still would be like 8 or 9 million short of making up the difference between the bottom.
Okay. So one thing I'm not familiar with is I heard somebody talking about the way restrictions work in territory battles. One of the live streams or something, and they specifically started by mentioning what I've said before, where they really need to make it so that you can restrict individual platoons instead of the entire platoon area, which I 100% agree with. It's just
Absolutely.
other than the very beginning when you need to analyze and keep anyone from doing anything, that's helpful, I guess. But anyway, they talked about restricting just deployment. Do you think that if you restrict, engagement on the main icon for a territory, that just restricts mass deployment? I kind of thought that if you did it, it would restrict doing anything. Like, you couldn't. Well, I guess we could test it, couldn't we? If I set the
we could test it.
If I set the restriction there, oops, and then we try to go into a battle. No, it doesn't. It doesn't stop me. So it must just be.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
It looks like it works.
All right, so because it seems like no matter what, even if I immediately have the command set to deploy in the bottom, which pretty much is always the case, to deploy in the South Territory, there will always be mass deployments in the Middle Territory. People that just don't pay attention or whatever. So maybe this will help to have that set be restricted in the middle so that people just literally can't without disobeying the command.
Yeah, I also think we need to free up that combat mission in the bottom.
Are we set down there?
Oh, as far as the platoons, we're 3 out of 6. Are we able to do more than? I see.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
3 through 6. Yeah, okay. So
all we need
what
is
is
like
that 3?
there's only like 5 more tunes, and it's not like they're exclusives or anything.
It's a Lobot, Leia, and a Wiggs.
I mean, I can unrestrict the combat mission just because some amount of people would probably still be able to do, about as good as they could. But what do you think? Is it worth just? Because I always struggle with like the difference between trying to give ourselves the best opportunity and playing against people's availability. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And have people be like, well, I was available for the first 4 hours when I was not allowed to attack, and now I'm not.
Let's see here. Okay, so 1. Oh, you know what? So Rebel 7-star, light side. So that's my resistance. Oh, I forgot. This is a. Oh no, because that's one's Rogue One. I can fill this. Other than the Lobot, I can fill this because I don't need to use my wigs.
Okay.
Oh no, I've maxed out my contributions. Dang it. Ah, dang my giving nature.
Seriously. Well, I mean,
Stop giving so many tunes and platoons.
that's the thing. I mean, you give it enough time and people to get the chance to look at it, it'll get filled. It's just if we let the restriction go, then the people who don't pay as close of attention and just do whatever, whenever they get the chance, are just gonna go in and probably play and not necessarily wait, thinking, well, if I wait until that platoon is filled, I'm gonna have the best opportunity. So we'll just risk basically some amount of people playing before
Well,
they really should.
what if you just do an at all member in Discord
Mm-hmm.
and open up the combat mission and be like, hey, we just need a Wiggs, a Leia, and a Lobot in that final one, and then maybe that will turn people on to go down there and fill it. And in the meantime, I mean, I won't have any problem still beating that with my resistance.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm gonna be using down there as well. And with them, you can definitely play before the platoons are done because the enemy never gets to go in order to use
Yeah,
that
yeah, exactly.
AT-AT strike.
Yeah.
I'm gonna unrestrict it and in its own command put in wait for the platoons.
Yeah, that sounds good. Just put it in the command, please fill platoon before. Oh my goodness, my dog just audibly passed wind. Like and it was a nice like it wasn't like short either. It was like it was a strung out a release
Undeniable.
of fumes. Wow. What are you ordering? A buddy? Oh, and you're just getting mom reimburse.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
She doesn't drink it. Why should she reimburse?
Yes, she does.
She does?
Yeah, she does. She drinks it.
The other.
No, she drinks that. Well, the Ducks got back to 4-2, but then there it is. Oh, Jack. Oh, oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna vacate the. Oh man. Oh, jeez, boy. That's healthy right there. Woo! All right. Yeah, we'll probably do our CMs a little later today. We usually, I don't know if you've noticed, we kind of do our CMs like around 9 or 10 your time.
Yeah.
So we're usually a little bit late on those. You there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
You hearing me?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, because I don't know if the problem I have with this with the streaming software losing my mic is if I open Discord on another device also.
Sorry, I just switched over to Wi-Fi. I thought that might be it.
No. So I'm just trying to type in an @member in Discord real quick.
Got it.
All right. Sounded like a notification.
That was it.
That was instant. I hit send and your device went meep meep.
Hey man, that's what happens when you're on Wi-Fi.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I think we may try and get some lunch here. It's getting to be about that time.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna need to move on myself. Thank
Yep.
you guys so much for hanging out again.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun chat. Oh wait, we'll let Kate say bye too.
Sure.
Say bye, Kate.
Bye, Bubba.
You're supposed to say bye, Kate.
Oh, my bad. Bye, Kate.
Nice. Awesome. Hey,
All
thanks
right.
again,
We'll
guys.
see you later, man.
Yeah, appreciate
Yeah, no
it.
problem.
Cool.
See you later.
All right, have a good one. And I'm gonna get going too, folks. So, hope this was informational and entertaining. And I'll see you all in the Galaxy of Heroes.